everyone. Today I am going to be filming that Q&A I mentioned I was going to do on Instagram a couple days ago. I filmed it that day 3 times because I was trying to test a new audio thing, which I ended up not liking any of those times. So I'm just going to refilm it today and answer all of your questions here. Without further ado, let's get into it. There's a lot of stuff I want to get through because this is an FAQ plus a Q&A. One of the main things I get asked a lot is what lens do I use, what camera do I use, what do I edit with? So we're going to answer all of those questions now. I film with a Canon T3i. I typically am filming with the kit lens, which most of the time is this one. This is the 18 to 55 millimeter one. It's the one that came on the T3i. Otherwise today I'm filming with the 18 to 135. It's the exact same lens, pretty much, I think. This one just zooms in further is the only difference. For some of my fashion videos, I'll switch it up and use this one, which is a 40 millimeter, and it makes the depth of field really pretty because it's a prime lens. And yeah. I've used this in like that early spring lookbook, I think, that I did with Maddie. And then I recently used this, and I've used it in other things before, but in my college winter lookbook, this sort of fisheye thing, this is just an attachment that you actually put on the kit lens. I got this on Amazon for like $20, I think. Max, you would probably spend 50 bucks on this, but it's way better to get this than spend like $300 to $700 on a actual fisheye lens. Couldn't think of the word, but yeah, this is a Polaroid Studio Series 42 times fisheye lens. So that is all of that. I typically film with one umbrella light. This was super cheap on Amazon. I only have one because I usually try to rely on some daylight as well, but typically if you wanted like a proper setup, you would have 2. Quickly I'll mention I don't use any different audio. I am just using the audio that's built into the camera because I already have tried several different pieces of audio equipment in the past, and it's just another step and I don't like it. I'd like to keep it as straightforward as possible. But anyway, and then I edit with Movie Studio Platinum 12.0 from Sony. It was pretty cheap. It was like $60. If you're a PC user like I am, it does way more stuff than obviously like Windows Movie Maker would, but I would say it's kind of in the same realm of like Adobe Premiere, which is another one I would recommend, or even like Final Cut Pro, like the kids use on their MacBooks these days, but that's really expensive. So both the MacBook and Final Cut Pro. So I just recommend this for people starting to dabble in it who are PC users. Going along with this, Glass of Freedom on Instagram had also asked me what advice I have on buying a camera. Honestly, honestly, YouTube is your best friend because I'm assuming that, well, probably not all of you. Some of you are probably looking more for photography, but some of you might be looking for a camera for YouTube purposes, and this is literally the platform where you're going to be watching what that video is going to look like. So it's like the best place to look for video tests, tons of cameras, tons of lenses. Just be aware of what equipment and what cameras are being used when you're looking for stuff on YouTube. So for example, say I was looking to buy an 85 millimeter lens from Canon. I search that on YouTube and I find some videos that are like really stunning, super crisp, clear, beautiful, and I'm like, yes, this will look so good on my T3i. Well, turns out it is actually being filmed on a Canon 5D Mark III, and they are using other sort of equipment that you do not have. All of that is going to play into how the image quality looks in the end. So be aware of everything that you're watching when you're watching a video test or reviews or just whatever on YouTube. So a lot of the times I get asked where I'm going to school, what I study. Camille A on Instagram specifically asked, what are you studying? Coco878 asked, what made me go into fashion design? And _dreaming_99 asked, where do I see myself in 5 years? First and foremost, what made me get into fashion? I've always been into the arts ever since I was growing up, like hanging out with 2 of my oldest friends. One of their dads would always take us to our local museum, the Des Moines Art Center, and so I grew up seeing like the same freaking paintings all the time, which is fine, but I mean, I got a grand appreciation for the specific art that was there. Like for example, this Dame à la robe blanche, whatever, by Henri Matisse is always hanging there, and so it is near and dear to my heart. I just really have always liked art, film, photography, paintings, drawings, writing, anything. So I feel like as an artist, it is crucial to pick some sort of medium that you want your focus to be. Of course, you can dabble in whatever else, but I think apparel is my medium. I just think it's really interesting, constructing garments. I can definitely see myself doing other things as well, but at this point in time, I think my focus is probably fashion, and I've always kind of wanted it to be, so that's that. I go to Iowa State University. We are actually pretty high up there as far as fashion design and merchandising schools go. Of course, there's a few above us that are like specific fashion schools like FIDM, FIT, Parsons, probably, definitely. Otherwise, we are probably right below Drexel and Kent State, so we're still pretty up there on the list, which is impressive for Iowa, because it's like, what? It's Iowa. What's going on there fashion-wise? But yes, my specific major is called Apparel, Merchandising, and Design. However, you can just pick a focus, so my focus is design. You could focus in merchandising, or you could focus in product development. However, they kind of like you to take classes in everything just to become a well-rounded fashion individual, you know, which I like. I think the faculty here is really, really great, and I've learned a ton, so I totally recommend it if you are in the Midwest looking for fashion schools and don't want to venture too far out to the coasts just yet. And then as far as what I see myself doing in 5 years, or where I just want to go career-wise with this, I definitely just want to end up in a city that I like. I think first and foremost, I need to be in a place where I can be happy, and then I think a job will follow that. I mean, I've looked at jobs in Seattle, Denver, Portland. However, most of the jobs that I would probably be most successful in are in, of course, like LA, San Francisco, New York, which are all totally cool. I would be fine with any city of all the ones I mentioned. I'd like to work for a sustainability or fair trade kind of focused company, just because I think that this industry, among other industries, definitely takes a toll on this earth and the things inhabiting it, and I would like to work for a company that doesn't have quite as big of a negative impact. I want to work for a company that's like transparent as far as pricing things goes, where the stuff is being made, how the people in those factories are being treated. I totally obviously think it's fine to outsource stuff, but it's just a matter of taking care of the people who are working for your dang company, you know? So that's what I want to do. I could be a designer, assistant, or otherwise. I would even totally be okay with being the person who like organizes samples, helps with photo shoots, stuff like that. Anything creative I would be down with, to be completely honest. Some of you have asked in the past more about my movies, because I really, really like movies, but I don't talk about them a ton on this channel, not nearly as much as I talk about music or fashion, which is weird because they're all kind of like equal for me. But some of you have asked who my favorite directors are, so I will briefly run through some of my favorites. I would probably say my number one favorite is Spike Jonze. Her, Where the Wild Things Are, Adaptation, Being John Malkovich, which are all really quirky, interesting sort of films that they just have his mark, you know? And I like a director that leaves a mark, a stamp on their films. I really appreciate that, and it's an inspirational thing to me. Christopher Nolan is one of my favorites. I love Inception, Memento, Insomnia, Interstellar. I actually don't really like the Dark Knight trilogy, but what can you do? But he's still one of my faves because of all of his other work. Those are actually probably my two favorites. Others kind of circulate in there, but I'm just going to mention these for the sake of time. Oh, also Glass of Freedom asked my top 10 movies of 2014. I did not see nearly enough good movies in 2014, unfortunately. I caught Whiplash right at the end there, and that was amazing. Totally deserves all the Oscar buzz it's getting. Miles Teller is slowly but surely becoming one of my favorite actors. J.K. Simmons did amazing in his supporting role. He definitely deserves the Oscar because he is terrifying in that movie. Absolutely freaking terrifying, and he makes the whole movie, to be completely honest. It's one of the most tense films I've ever seen. Anyone can relate to aspects of it, even though, you know, it on the surface seems like it's just a movie about a music school. It's so much more than that, and you can definitely find themes in it that can apply to your life. It is just fantastic. It's edited super cool. The cinematography is so beautiful. Cool music, you know, that's just the shallow stuff right there, but I mean, I totally recommend watching it if you have not yet. Still want to catch Birdman, which I have not seen, so I'm not going to say anything obviously, but it looks cool. I saw a documentary called Tiny on Netflix, which was interesting. I don't know if it came out in 2014, but it's basically about those people who will build like efficient sort of little tiny homes, which are super cute. And I don't know, the documentary just explores ideas of what home actually means, what people's ideas of true success mean. Very intriguing and very inspiring, so I highly recommend you check that out. I saw I Origins, which was really, really interesting. Do not watch a trailer spoiler if you watch it though, but I highly recommend it. I'm trying to go through these quicker now. Boyhood, I already talked about in my 2014 favorites, so I'm not going to go into that too deep, but a huge recommendation for sure. I saw Grand Budapest Hotel. Really, really funny, cute. Definitely has Wes Anderson's stamp, as all of his films do, but I think this is one of the movies that's most like his. Like, it really represents his movies. This whole entity of Grand Budapest Hotel does. It was fabulous. Otherwise, I saw a lot of superhero movies this year, and I'm not really gonna recommend any of those. Besides, X-Men Days of Future Past surprised me. That was actually really good. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say as far as 2014 movies go. And that is it. That is all of the questions. So thank you guys very much if you asked a question. I am glad to get some of the frequently asked ones out of the way, so I hopefully will not have to answer them in future videos. For a while there, I was doing 2 videos a week, which is fine and dandy. I can totally do that, but I think I'm gonna go down to 1 video a week just because I don't want to oversaturate yo feed with my face. So that is that. But yeah, otherwise I will see you all in the next one. Bye.